Hey guys! So I had to do the camera angle this way for my project share. This is actually a banner I just finished making. It is made from strips of the seersucker fabric that I have, and I'll show it to you in detail. I just wanted to show you what the banner looks like while it's hanging. This is the view from my craft desk, or when I'm behind my computer working. Um, you can see all of my, not all, some of my laces are in this little cubby that I had gotten at the Goodwill some time ago for $1.50. So I decided I wanted to kind of hang a banner on it. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it this way or hang some other things from it, like the little mason jar that I showed you yesterday. But on each of the ends is those little loopy flowers that I made from the same seersucker material. And I know a lot of people think it looks like toilet paper when you see it up close. It still does to me as well. So let me go ahead and change the camera angle, excuse me, and I'll show you how I made it. Okay, I'm back. So here is the banner up close, and you're going to see shadow over here because I don't have the light aimed down at it, and it's probably not good for that light anyway to be right on it anyway. So from this end you can see I got some more seersucker trim, and it looks like this. It came in a roll today. I purchased it off of eBay, and it looks like this. So it's not as wide as the other original seersucker that I had. I still have more of the other original one I had. I just wanted to show you the roll. This is a big roll. Yeah, this doesn't look as much like paper towel to me because of the pattern, but the other one I took and I ripped it into strips. So this is actually like 3 wide, so it's like this as one whole piece. And all I did was cut about 1 inch off the end going inward and then ripped it so it would look really shabby. So I took these strips and strips of the same other seersucker that I'm showing you and cut little fishtails in the end, on the end, and then I proceeded to tie that onto some seam binding, some white seam binding, and there's actually 2 lengths of seam binding in here just because I like the these ends to kind of dangle down on the side. And then I used the flowers that I had made earlier as kind of like a tie-ups for the banner. And the banner is just, it's only got, and it's only pinned actually to the flower is only pinned down to the seam binding, and there's a loop on the end that I tied in a knot, so I could actually untie that if I wanted to make the banner longer. And then I'm holding up the banner by using 3M hooks that are stuck to the little cubbies that I have on, and that's what I did on each end. So all these are is just tied in a single knot to the seam binding, and you can put as many as you want on here. I don't know how many I used exactly. I had, when I started, 84 strips total of each of these patterns, and as you can see I did not use them all. So it was a lot of fun to do this. I wanted to see if I could make that, and actually I was inspired by a picture that I saw in a book at Joann's. I was at Joann's and I was looking at actually for some Tilda books that I didn't have already, and let's see if I can show you the picture. So here's the construction. See if I can show it to you. This is kind of the construction of the banner, and then I have another picture of, here we go. This is the actual banner as it's hanging, and they had chosen to put it on a bed. And of course that's not going to happen for me because my bed is upholstered and my husband probably wouldn't stand for something so frou-frou in the bedroom. Plus it doesn't go in with our bedroom color. So that is the picture that I had seen in the book, and I thought, oh well, that would be really cool to replicate. And actually they used pinking shears to cut material, I just used the seersucker because it was already what I had available. I didn't want to cut up any fabric for that. So other things that I've been working on today, or yesterday actually, I posted on my Facebook page this heart. So now you get to see it up close for those people who are able to see this on my Facebook page. So this is the heart that I made, and this was inspired by Vicky, who is Try Heart 67 on YouTube. She made some shabby hearts for the ladies for their barbecue, and this is a heart that I made, and mine has actually some white fabric with yellow sewn polka dots in it, but you can't see the polka dot pattern because this lace that I put over it, this yellow lace, covers most of it. I didn't care that it didn't cover the whole entire width of the heart. So I used some trims here that I have in my stash. There's even bling in this. Sorry if you heard that. We are having a thunderstorm. So lots going on right now. And then I used a loop of the lace seam binding that I had as the loop here, and I actually tacked this down. All of my this is all sewn by hand. I could probably have used my sewing machine to do this, but I sewed this by hand and tacked that down because I didn't want it to come apart. Mine is stuffed with both the filler and the what do you call it, potpourri. So mine does smell. It's the same potpourri I used for the mason jar. And then this is some bling from Artie's One Little Dreamer store that I cut apart and put a little cluster here. And then there's a bow tie bling. I think even Vicky had purchased this for me from downtown LA. So here's some lace and some more of the seam binding, and then some of the this is really interesting eyelash trim. I had gotten this at the Mighty Dollar for $1 a roll, and this is some like silver colored trim, and actually the back is a little bit different. I used the trim again and went around the heart with that. Oh, I forgot to show you. I did go around the edge of the heart with some little flower trim here, and first I glued it down and then I tacked it with I went around it. I sewed it down to the heart so it won't come up even if the glue doesn't hold. So this actually is glued down, and I did not sew this because you would be able to see the white stitching, and I didn't want you to see that. I was actually hiding the stitching that I had done for the other side. And then here is the tail on this side, and it's a little bit different. It looks different. So from both sides you can see some bling. I used a star up here to you know, kind of hide the hanger a little bit. But that is my shabby heart in yellow. I love how it turned out. So that is another thing I did. I also went ahead and made some bows, and let me just dump them out on the table. I was going to use my Tim Holtz bow die, and then I figured lots of people have shown bows using that. I made these bows with a different die. Let me go get it for you. So I had purchased some time back 2 dies from Little Inker Designs, and they sell stamps as well. And my bow dies, I have the Tim Holtz bow die, but I wanted to see what these look like since I've already seen the other ones made. These are stitched, so there is an impression of stitching all the way around the bow, and then the tails and the middle section. And these are really easy to put together. I used this glue. So guys, I tried this out again, but I went and bought a fine tip glue nozzle. I got smart and got that. So mine came with this little pin that goes down in there so it's capped and won't dry out. So yeah, this is much nicer for me to use now that I have this new nozzle on there. So I had gotten, actually this was on a bottle, and I said, okay, let me just try and see if this whole thing fits down onto this bottle, and it does. So All I have to do is change the bottle out when it's empty, and I'm going to actually get my husband to make me a holder that holds this upside down like this, suspended, so that the tip doesn't, you know, hit the table or anything. I'll get him to make a thing that holds this and my other types of glue bottles, so that when as they get empty, it can be held like this upside down. But anyway, that's another story. The bow dies, sorry about that. I decided that my scrap pile was getting too full, so I wanted to use the scrap pile to make the bows out of this, and then I got carried away and made a whole bunch. So these are the little bows that come from the 2 dies that I have from Little Inker, and they're so cute. And I used, oh my gosh, what's the paper line? It was the same paper line I used to make the hot air balloon project, if you guys had seen that. And that video is still posted. You can see the hot air balloon in my projects list. But these were the scraps from that hot air balloon project. So, you know, they didn't go to waste since it only cut the center out of the paper. And so here are some of the bows. And I don't know if I can get the actual detail of the stitching in there. Oh, okay. There it is. The camera just focused, so I have to stop moving my hand. Right? The edge of there, I think it's my camera that won't focus in on it, but the edge of all of the bows is actually it really looks like stitching. My husband actually was like thinking that I had sewn all of these bows, and I was like, no, I didn't sew them, it's in the die. And so the detail that you see in these bows is really amazing up front, up in person. I don't know if I can show that to you very well. There we go. I'm seeing it, but then the camera doesn't want to do it. Let's see. So I don't know how well you guys are seeing that, but the other thing I noticed is that when I'm putting these together, the tail piece is actually not as wide as the bow piece itself. So that makes it a lot easier when you're putting them together, and it makes it look nicer to me. The tails look a lot nicer than some of the bow dies that I've seen. So I made some single ones. This is the large one. And I made some double ones. This is the only one I did where I have the tail inside underneath the first bow. I just didn't like the look of it. So I did more like this, where it's the double bow and the single tail. And I just mixed and matched. And these are double-sided papers. So as I was cutting, I was looking at, you know, what side I wanted to cut down on. Because for me, because it is stitched, you have to put the side that you want to be on the outside of the bow towards facing the die as it cuts, because it does do that stitching detail. And you can't just when you're done cutting, you can't decide to flip it over and use that side, because the stitching detail doesn't show up correctly. So these are the bows that I made, and I think they're so cute. So now I have all these little bows for projects that I want to use them on, and here's a side detail of what it looks like. They're so cute. And the bows come out to, the large bow comes out to, with the tails, 2 3/4 inches. And the small bow comes out to, let me see if I can find it, 1 and little bit over 1.5, no, about 1.5 inches. And I actually did one where the tails are pointing down, and all I did was scrunch up the tails so that they would, you know, point downwards. And I think that's just adorable. These little things are so addictive. Here's another bow. I don't know if I showed you this. So yeah, the paper line, I wish I could remember. It's one of those ones that you could have found at Joann's, and I actually bought this at Tuesday Morning. And they're all like light blues and greens and browns, and pinks, some pink in there. Kathy Davis, maybe was the one who did it. I don't know. So yeah, these are the bows that I made. Let me think if I made anything else today. I think that was it. So yeah, I went crazy on the bows, the bow making. I made my shabby banner, did the little heart yesterday, and I think that is all. So guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, I will be back with another video.